Some say this is, I guess, best workshop in India when it comes to classic cars.
Have you ever found, what is the craziest thing you ever found in one of these compartments?
Quirky stuff. The car goes up, the car goes down on hydraulics.
Next door. What are you doing? He's making a mix. He's gonna put it in his mouth. Now watch.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no. Trims, bro.
What are you listening to? I think they might be under influence or anything or something. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Horsepower Cartel. It's a very special episode because we have some special needs people with us.
Yo, what's up, guys? Good morning.
I'm just kidding. We went to a very special place. Some say this is, I guess you can say, the best workshop in the world. No, I'm just kidding. Best workshop in India when it comes to classic cars and restoration for classic cars and antique cars. We've been trying to make this happen for a while, and finally, like almost a year now. But finally, we were supposed to even get Imran to come with us, but we're going early, and you know, Imran, he wouldn't wake up early. But yeah, we do have a special guest with us, so get his input on these special cars. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Check out some really awesome classic restored cars, which you've probably never even seen in India, which I've probably never even seen in India. And these cars are like what? Cartier car show. What is it? It's called Cartier, right?
Yeah, like concourse level.
Concourse level.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and these cars actually go out to the concourse. So, from India. I think I restored over here, maintained over here. So let's go. Long journey ahead. I just hit up my boy Allan, who runs the place. He said come through. So long journey ahead. It's gonna be a while before we get there. So just enjoy some B-roll and probably some random stuff on the way. We're finally here, hour and a half later. Such a long journey. I'm tired. Luckily, I'm gonna sleep on the way back. All right, so Allan's here finally. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, pleasure. Finally to have you.
So, you want to run us through the different types of stations you have?
Absolutely. So just from here, so what we do is we restore old, classic and vintage cars, and obviously we run with different stations. I have a procedure that we go about. Finally, there'll be a car that comes in really bad, which we completely strip open. It's sandblasted, it's completely every nut bolts out. So that's what we call that type of a restoration, a nut bolt restoration. And from there the car goes into denting, which would be on one side. Then post denting it would go for a dry fitting where everything is just checked. Then the car goes into paint, which I'll show you. From paint it comes into the final section, which is right behind me, which is the fitting. And if there's mechanical, we have mechanical sections. Then there's an upholstery section, a wood section. So all depends on what the car is and which car it is from which era. So the wood's different for a car from America to a car that would be from London. So we have different stations for everything.
Oh, you're a national, man. So yeah, let's go. What do we want to check out first?
So I think let's start with maybe the denting section.
So it's the
So
denting
just
section.
showing you something of what happens during denting. This is actually a car that's in the second phase. So there's a little guide code of paint done, and then we are fitting every trim that I told you is the dry fitting. So we are fitting every metal trim, correcting is as we go around the car. So we've started from the front, we put in the grille, we put in headlights. This headlight needs correction, so it's missing. And eventually we go through every trim and adjust the body so that the trim fits correctly. And there's also a fabrication that happens in the process. So for instance, this is a really long trim on the caddy that we are fabricating. And the thing is, we do it exactly as per original spec. So I will contact the Cadillac club, they'll give me dimensions, and it will be exactly replicated as per that. Coming again to the rear end before the car goes into final paint is all these trims getting done. Everything will be fit, and then once we are okay with the fitting, also the dashboard. So the dashboard getting done. I think eventually this process takes about 2 months for a car of this. This is a 50s car. From here it will go for final paint and then for final fitting. If we want to move this side as well, there's another car that hasn't had the guide coat of paint. So this is still on primer. So it's on primer, not painted, and all of the fittings will be done. So we are making trims on the car. So trims are being made. Everything will be checked, all your door gaps. So this is all not been done yet. So this will be corrected.
So the gold is going to be chrome, right?
Yeah. So this is all made in brass, and it will eventually be chrome. So another car here is again a rare Mach 300, and this has a lot of metal trims, like immense amount of metal trims. So most of them have been fabricated. Now they've been checking for gaps, and this car has a little bit of paint on it just to get all the levels. And she'll again go for the final paint, final fitting, and the engine works happening. And if you look in, you'll notice that the dash also has been made to exact specs. This is what we love doing actually, recreating stuff instead of just buying it off the shelf. So recreating stuff but to exact specs. In mechanicals also, before running an engine directly into the car, we kind of prefer to run it a few hours outside at different RPMs with the gearbox attached. So this is a W111 engine that's been done. So the engine's completely rebuilt. So we have everything. You'll have the radiator connected, you'll have the gearbox, you'll have all the meters to it. And eventually this will run for approximately about 40 hours. Check everything's
40 hours?
40 hours. But I'm not saying 40 hours together. It will be done first half an hour, then 1 hour, then 2 hours. So because these need proper oil pressure, there shouldn't be any leakages.
You have the gauges as well.
So we'll have all the gauges. So we'll have your oil gauge, your temperature gauge to make sure everything's okay.
So this is an inline 6 from this?
This is an inline 6 from a similar car like this. So this is another engine that's been done. We've already done trials on the ramp, and now we are doing a few trials on the car. So this is again mechanical work in process. Again, this car is a rare car because it's a V8 116. You don't really get a lot of V8s around. This is a 450. So this is our mechanical shed. The plans to get her roadworthy now. We got the engine running, we got everything running, just the suspension. And this is a car that has just been acquired by Mr. Goenka. So we are just completing all the suspension, brakes, differential, and hopefully another 2 weeks she'll be on the road. This is the paint section, the entire stretch. So paint, polishing happens here. We do paint twice. So painting's done once, then the car goes for dry fit, and then it's painted again finally. So you have an E-Type today that's getting the body just a final polish. You'll have a few cars getting all the first coats of paint, and eventually they'll go for fitting, and after fitting they come for the final coat of paint. And maybe later on I'll show you some cars that I've painted. So what also we have here is a little separate room. What happens here is copper, which goes into finally for chrome. So the copper is finished here to levels that are, beyond perfection, because it has to be, to the naked eye, a big piece should not have a single wear. So everything's finished here. From here it will go to chrome, and this is something that's also been good for me. And it was something that Mr. Goenka insisted that our chrome has to be the best that is there in India, and we couldn't get chrome done anywhere else, so we eventually set up this place. So this Beetle is a little special to me. I took it up as a project because I love the Beetle. It's a everyday car, it's a people's car, but me being me couldn't drive a normal Beetle, so I built an engine which you can see from here. I got parts from GX International. And for a Beetle, about 100 bhp, she's a beautiful car. She's really, really quick and handles well. So we've got the axles, we've got the suspension, the entire setup. I just installed it here, rebuilt the engine, and I think another 2 weeks she'll be on the road. Let's see, but she's really quick. So we have fitting areas in and out. So the nicer cars which need humidity controlled are kept in. Some cars are here as well which are done. This car is done fitting. It will head to the other place for parking for now. This is a car that has finished a first coat of paint. It really looks like it's the last coat, but it's just the first coat. We do a dry fitting and this car will go. There's an E-Type there that comes for suspension and brakes work. Completing that car now. Here are two rare cars. This is the car that's going for the concourse abroad. So it's nearly done. Now we are doing the bottom part of the car.
What is it?
Upholstery. This is a pure Saro. Painting's done. We are doing a little detailing. Interior dash, upholstery. This is a Chevy 150. Beautiful color scheme. Interior work getting done. Come to final fitting. Chrome parts on the car. Engines in and engines.
Whoa.
The engine's been done and just need to get the
Inline six?
filter, etc. Inline 6. Reasonably quick car, but station wagons are fun to drive. If you drive a sedan of this era, or the exact car, you drive a station wagon, the station wagons of the 50s, 60s handle much better. When you're pushing them on the road and all, nothing like
And what kind of
station
suspension
wagon.
is on this?
So this will be stock suspension.
Normal.
So there'll be like
Leaf springs
leaf spring
in the back.
behind, coils in the front.
Okay. But they still ride like.
They still drive. So the weight
Comfy.
being a little bit heavy on the station wagon because they are leaf springs. So the car sits really well on turns. I remember we have an Excel 1958 of Mr. Goenka that I drove at the Booth circuit and it was phenomenal. I mean, you just couldn't keep up with that car. Big weight. Coming here to the other room is, you see nicer cars. You can see a P1 getting done. The P1 getting done, painted, finishing. If you can look through here, upholstery is done. This is the final touch of finishing.
This thing
of
is
work.
huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's big car. It's huge. It's black. People get scared to paint black cars of this era because you have to be sure that every wave, everything's perfect. Final finishing. This is a P3, completely done. Cars gonna get out soon.
This is going to any crazy shows like concourse.
Yeah, so these will all the cars here, most of them will go for concourse. So these are all ready for the concourse.
Where is the
now.
concourse exactly?
So they'll have a concourse now in Baroda.
Baroda.
In Jan.
Wow, like an
Jan.
international one.
So you have jump seats like these that come out.
Oh.
Yeah. You will have a bar section in the middle. So I mean, the Rolls Royces were equipped.
These were like the Puntos.
Another thing of these cars is, if you note the front of these cars. So these are limos because they have a division.
suicide doors. Wow, look at that.
So the front section would normally have leather. Leather for them was for drivers. I mean, upholstery, cloth upholstery, which is called mohair, is for the Maharajas, the royalty. Leather is for
What is it called,
drivers.
mohair?
Mohair.
Mohair.
Black leather always for drivers because they scratch it. And if you notice the time Rolls Royce had cars, something weird about them is their gear shifter is on the right. Yeah. So the gear shifter is right here, the handbrakes right here. So what happens is very difficult to get into a Rolls Royce from the right. So you always get in from the left. And it's a very tough fit because they normally kept chauffeurs that were really short and stout. But I mean, I'm comfortable, but others tough fit. But they had all the equipments here. You had glove boxes, you had armrest. Another cool thing about this particular Rolls Royce is if I was the chauffeur and there was a driver behind and he wanted to talk to me, he presses a button and I can hear him here.
Oh.
But I can't talk back to him. There's no way I can send out something. Only he can give me orders. Again, the car's tinted by factory specs.
Also, the cops can pull you over.
So when you build a car like this, you build it as per factory specs. You get a build sheet that comes that this car had this car had this type of woodwork. This is a very nice, rare, beautiful car. And it's painted in one of my favorite shades of blue. She's completely done. She's actually ready for delivery.
What is this blue called?
This is our own custom blue. So most of our colors are all custom. So if you see this wall, it's colors that Mr. Goenka and me have built and made. So there's no single car that would be, I can go to a shop and say, give me this blue, give me this.
So everything's a one of
Everything's
one.
mixed here.
One of one.
We have our own paint section, we have our own mixer, everything's mixed here.
So before we get any further, I mean, a lot of people want to know if they have a classic car. Well, how does the process work? You come in here, target shipped or whatever.
Yeah, so normally you would contact me, I would tell you when I can take your car because we have a little waiting.
Little?
Yeah, we have a lot of waiting. So then you send your car finally. So I don't do modern classics. They don't really excite me.
Yeah.
So I don't touch modern classics unless it is some really close friend or someone that I can't say no to. But I prefer cars pre-80. So when you call me, if I give you a date, you get the car in, and probably, depending on how rare the car is, if it's like a 30s, 40s cars, it takes 2 years to get back to you, sometimes more. And if it's a reasonable car, 1 year and you're done. So the Americans are easier, parts are off the shelf, 70s cars. I mean, if I can work on them 8 months to a year max. This is again a very rare Rolls Royce. It's a one-off and pretty much like a lot of the cars that we do. This is the Maharaja of Mysore's crest. So this car is built for someone and it's again going to be probably the only one now surviving. It's called a foursome.
What was this called?
Yeah, it was called a foursome. So because it could fit 4 people. And they never had a body, they never had an exact name for the body at that time because Maharaja of Mysore had certain specs that he wanted it built in Silver. So it's getting done, very, very rare, extremely valuable, and I mean, I have to get this done in a month, so there's a lot of work pending on this. The whole team's actually working on this car right now.
What is this, the trunk, the way it opens?
Okay, so this is where your spare wheel would be and your toolkit, one of the toolkits. This car would have 3-4 toolkits and this would kind of shut like this.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And you'd have the same thing.
Oh, it's like a proper...
Yep. So this is your first section. So this is your touring section. You would have a trunk here. It would be tied on
straps.
Yeah. And these handles are out though, so they're gone for chrome. So when this opens, you have a little section where you can keep all your valuables.
And they have straps too. So this stays open, or?
If you can stay open and ride with it, but otherwise it's shut. Again, a cool part about this car was, and you can't see it now, there are a lot of secret compartments in it. If you see it from here. Because Maharaja of Mysore was rich, so there would be a compartment here, there would be a compartment here, one to underneath it. A lot of the seats had compartments as well. So extremely rare. I'm very excited for this car.
I have to ask you something that I thought of, which a lot of people are going to think of. Have you ever found, like, what is the craziest thing you ever found in one of these compartments, like one of these cars?
So very honestly, this particular car, we found a real, I'm not meant to be really word, but a matchbox that was from 1904.
Wow.
And we've kept it actually, but so this was the rarest thing that we found on this. But you find a lot of car related stuff in these cars, not really jewelry, but we find monograms of the Maharajas that are very rare. So rarity wise, we find some things valuable as well. But a lot of matchboxes, and people then smoked a lot. So all of these cars would have 2 cigarette lighters, 3 cigarette lighters. Like this car has 4 cigarette lighters.
Electrical.
Electrical. So you get a lot of smoking related stuff. You find paper, you find rolling paper that, I mean, of the 1920s, 1930s. You would find matchboxes, you would find like butts of cigars. So I don't know why I find a lot of smoking related stuff in these cars. These are cars that I drive over the weekend because, I mean, we are far from home, about an hour away, so I take a more modern car daily, probably my E46. But apart from that, on the weekend, I love my Gypsy, I love the 103, I love my Fiat. The Fiat's all modern. AC, power steering, fun car. Gypsies have AC power steering. Everything has AC power steering, comfortable music. And this is something that I take over home on the weekend. I like riding as well, so the bikes are at home. Those come out again on maybe a Saturday night.
Where some cool cars are. Some cool cars we can't show you guys, but some cars we can. So the ones we can, enjoy it. The ones you can't, we'll enjoy it. And we'll pass it on as memories to whatever. If you ever meet one of you guys and you guys ask me about it, I'll tell you about it. Wow, it's a completely different area. Wow, look at this old Jeep pickup truck. Look at some cool car here. Is it a 1 ton? Or what is that? Yeah, 1 ton Dronga or something? Oh, Volkswagen Golf. Do you see it in there? Pretty cool. Cool cars in there. Oh, 80 series. Wow, we got a bunch of things on there. So, Nick, what do you think so far?
I forgot I was in India for a minute there. It's really good. Like one of the best shops
One
I've
of?
been to, like in my life. Like it's really nice.
Like, you've been to RWB as well. This guy's been to RWB.
Yeah, it's up there with them. Like it's really nice.
For classic cars.
Yeah, if you're into cars, this is like the place to go. Like I don't know if you ever get a chance, like set everything aside and go there. Like it's that great. Like really enjoyed it. And Allan's really great, like a great host.
Yeah.
Got us nice coffee and everything. So yeah, it's been great.
This is one of my favorite restorations and car. This is a 1936 quad. It's called an 810. And this is an original paint scheme on the car. It's called a cigarette cream. What's rare about this car is one, there are very few in India and there's none that are running in India. Again, it's a very futuristic design for its time, very art deco. I'll show you the dash. Another cool thing is the pop-up headlights for the 30s and each has a separate switch. So, I mean, it's a winder. So I'm winding now and you see, like one headlight come out and the other one's on the other side. So it's an extremely cool feature. And if you see from here, like the dash is art deco, the seats are art deco, it's completely bling. And the best part is it's all original spec. This is how the car came from the factory. Double white walls. So there's not only white walls on the outside, the inside of the tires is white walls too. Very rare tires to get, but we try to give it original. And if you come to the back also, she would be as original again. The split windows on this side, everything original. So this car is exactly like it came from the factory. This also has a pre-selector. So if you look, I'll just put the window down for you. So this is your shifter right here, the small little lever, and it's a pre-selector. So you select the gear, and only when you dump the clutch is when it will go into gear. So again, troublesome stuff, but really good when it works well. Again is Mr. Goenka's 61 Chrysler Imperial. You start from the front, it's got the suspended headlights, suspended tail lights again, rare spec, original black color. It's a big ass car, suspended tail lights, it's got the low barrel badging. This car came with a jewelry tax because the gold over here is real gold. So there was a jewelry tax when we bought this car. Again, it's an automatic, but it has the button selectors. So the parking neutral is all on buttons. And this is all original upholstery. This is how it came. Silver and metallic leather with fabric. And absolutely original like it should have been. And if you look at the steering also, it's it's a different shape. It's fun car. I mean, she's a fast car, being a V8, but handles like a typical American, boatish, but fast down the straights. So this is again polished aluminium, and this was again made here. So we've restored this car quite a few years ago, and pretty much most of the trim was made. The seats were done as per original specs, and obviously black and pink, and I mean, you don't get more gangster than this. This is, the iconic Citroen DS. A lot of features on this car ahead of its time. Quirky stuff, the car goes up, the car goes down on hydraulics. Everything works, I'll show you that. The headlights turn as per the direction that you're going in for those times. Got beautiful hubcaps. And another thing of this car is, the car can drive if you don't have one of the wheels. Not only the tire, the entire wheel assembly can be out. The car will level itself and she'll hold. So I'm just showing you the hydraulics now. What would be if we were in a field in those times in France, bad roads. They never had bad roads. Now we have a lot of off-roading. What have we done when the mode was like completely high? So she's still getting there. So turns into a high car. So this is the mode that I would drive in if I had a puncture as well. I would just remove the tire, put it back, and drive this way. And then when Santosh comes and you really want to be gangster, and you slam up, and this is probably the prettiest she looks all slammed down.
Whoa.
It's pretty much impossible to drive it in India this way, but this is how pretty she looks. And then back to your normal driving mode, and then it's like the middle line when it's driving. I'll show you the headlights also if you go to them. So if you turn to the right, you see the right hand side of the door. And right.
Yeah.
This is the oldest Volkswagen Beetle in India. Again, Mr. Goenka's car. Fun stuff about this car: has your semaphores, has the split window right behind, and it's the only one right now. And it's got everything original to the T. Again, one of the finest restorations we've done. Completely original engine. The upholstery is again something that was made only for 2 years on this particular Beetle. You have covers, but you'll see the upholstery on the rear. So it's something very different. It's got a radio from the period. It's got everything completely original. These are crotch coolers. You open them, hold air right to your crotch. It's a very fun car, though it's such an early Beetle and it's a small engine. Because of the differential, it's a really quick car. The only one in India now. We love off-roading, so all of us go off-roading a lot. So we have a lot of off-roading jeeps that are ready. So like a Saturday, Sunday, we start the car, get off. And they're all custom built. We use them only off-roading, not on the road. This one's spec'd, again, quite differently. Everything will have big tires, suspension setups, different types of gearboxes, winches, everything. This is again one more with again big engine, turbocharged. Got the tires, and that's my personal favorite because it's just very reliable, never lets me down. That's my 550, and so yeah, these are the main 3 off-roading cars that we take out, and they're all pretty much ready. They're on the steps, so if we get a call that we need to go, they are always out.
The steps.
This again here is a very pretty car. It's called the Hindustan Traveller. So the sedan version was the Landmaster. So the front end is completely like the Landmaster, and the Traveller would be the station wagon, and with the entire wood trim, which is obviously this whole car has been restored here. Still running original white walls that came from the factory. It's so hard to change them, and it's a very rare car, just a handful in India.
Just a handful of India, even though it was made in India.
Made in India, just a handful.
It's Hindustan Motors, the same company I made Ambassador.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the first
This is
cars.
open? This is open?
So then,
Wow.
throw in your kids, throw in your dogs behind. A large family would just enough of luggage
I'm guessing the
space.
spare tire will go below.
The spare wheel would go here, your jack, your entire toolkit. If you have really lot of luggage, then
Oh wow, this seat's folds out.
that seat will actually go up. This will fold down.
Wow.
So then, you put everything up here. And you can notice a lot of these wooden cars, even if you see the Rolls Royces, have these kind of strips. So it's so that your luggage kind of slides in. And also it doesn't really spoil the suitcases very well.
So Alan, thanks a lot for having
Pleasure,
us.
sir.
Finally
Pleasure.
made this trip, and thanks for making it happen.
What a trip.
And literally an experience, man. A lot of people won't get to experience this. We're glad to be the few that got to check these rare beauties out.
And I think on
And
some
the
Sunday we do a little drive with them as well.
Yeah, one of them, of course. Yeah, next time they're around, let me know. Would love to see them drive and stuff. Thanks, man.
Pleasure, sir.
Appreciate it. So we just winded up at Alan's workshop. Shout out to Allan, man. Mr. Goenka as well for having us. Unfortunately, he wasn't there, but Allan was nice enough to show us around, to show us some really sick, cool, classic vintage cars that you normally wouldn't see, and some international show car level cars, you know, like Concourse and then the Cartier as well. So yeah, man, big shout out to Allan. Thanks for having us. And comment below what you guys think. Let us know what was your favorite car. Which one would you like to drive or own one day, maybe in the future, when everything goes electric. How about you, Nick? What was your favorite car?
I really like that DS.
The DS was cool.
That was really cool.
And that there was some cars in there we couldn't show you guys. at least you guys probably saw like 75%, 65%.
Yeah, at least 75.
60 to 70% of the cars you guys got to see with us. Another 30%, which is like, you know, we couldn't show you because some people don't want it to be seen, and Alan's like sensitive owners don't want their cars to be seen. So, you know, we couldn't show that part. Yeah, but still, we got to witness it. Luckily. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. If you don't, Royal's gonna punch a baby in his face.